I've spent years exploring the beautiful state of Utah. I'm constantly trying to find interesting or historical places to visit. But sometimes the best places aren't the ones you find on Google Maps. They're the ones a local shows you. Today I'm meeting up with my friend Sam, who grew up in a small town of Milford, and he's taking me to some of the most fascinating places hidden around his hometown. I'm out here in the Utah desert near a town called Milford. And there's a lot of history to this town. This whole area was established, during the gold rush, and a lot of people came out to Utah to try to strike it rich. And I'm with my friend Sam, and he actually grew up in Milford, so he's gonna take me around, show me some cool history, some secrets of the place. So yeah, come tag along, should be a lot of fun. Also, this whole area just has obsidian just littering the ground. Yeah, I mean, just anywhere I look, just obsidian. Well, yeah, we got here last night. We camped out. There was a thunderstorm on the horizon. It was just absolutely beautiful. And I just woke up and we're getting started for the day. We're going to camp out tonight too. So I'm going to wait for Sam to wake up and then we'll get going. All right, we're just getting packed up from our camp, and our first stop is a brothel in the middle of the desert. To the brothel. This place was a brothel that was run by a person named Mags back in the late 1800s. And miners would come from Frisco, from other mining ghost towns nowadays. And this place has geothermal activity, which I'll show you. But over here are some geothermal pools. And right behind me here was actually a swimming pool that people would relax in after a long day in the mine. But the first thing we'll check out, this is the actual brothel right here. Look at this. And it's crazy how this is still pretty intact. But yeah, look at this place. Like I said, it was a brothel in the late 1800s. And the mining town of Frisco was pretty insane. Had a lot of saloons, had a bunch of murders, kind of an outlawish town, which is, it's about, I want to say 20, 30 miles this way on the other side of the valley. So yeah, people would come here just to relax and prostitute. But this area still has a lot of geothermal activity, and there's a big geothermal power plant that was established a while ago too. But yeah, here is the swimming pool, or the pool really, that was back in the 1800s where miners would just come to relax. It's crazy how it's still here. See the old wall still here, just built up with rocks from the surrounding area. Yeah, check this out, just the middle of the desert. You can imagine miners just coming here to relax and having a woman. What am I saying? It's a brothel. And Sam, you used to visit this as a kid, right? Growing up here?
Yeah, we camped out here all the time. And then at one point, this didn't used to be chained off. You could go up in there, but it's a little bit dangerous because there's like hollow spots.
Oh, the geothermal activity over there?
Yeah, and there's a lot more steam coming up, but we would dig a hole, put a tarp over the top, and then we'd all get underneath and we'd see who could stay in the longest.
Just small town boys doing small town things. Yeah, let's check out the geothermal portion here. It looks like there's an old rundown building as well. Right up there is the pools, and it would run down this, and looks like there's an old tub that's sitting right here. See some of the water running down here, and up here are some boiling pools. Whoa! A cooling body of magma still heats groundwater that rises through intersecting faults beneath the desert. That's why steam still hisses from the earth today, and why people have been drawn to this exact spot for well over a century.
So Milford was founded by Catholics, which is unusual for southern Utah because the Mormons were founding like all these, most of the towns in southern Utah. But this one was unique because it was founded by the Catholics. And then over the mountain you have Beaver that was founded by the Mormons. So you basically had the roughneck miners in Milford, you had the good Mormons in Beaver, but all of them were coming here.
But either way, people were coming from all over to this place. But there's an old building here too. Let's check this out.
So this was like the steam house, and it had like multiple rooms in here.
Oh yeah. Look at that. I love how there's still portions of the wall standing. Old foundation. Super cool. I feel like I'm kind of in Yellowstone walking around, but it's in the middle of the Utah desert. Let's get out of here before we die in a geothermal accident. Sam was saying that there is a old, what is it called, Sam? Like an old...
We called it rock cabin. It's like kind of like this hollowed out, it's like natural, but it's like a hollowed out boulder, and someone had built like a wall over it. And it's like a cabin everybody can use.
Nice. Yeah, so we're gonna go try to find that. We got general directions where it is, so see if we can actually find it.
Hey girls, what's your name?
All right, good news. We were driving around for about an hour, just poking around in all these hills, and we noticed it right up here. So we're walking up to it, built into a rock just in the middle of the desert. Let's check it out. All right, here it is. Just built out of the middle of the rock here. We got a nice porch here with a more modern chair. But look at the view. Yeah, look at this.
Hello?
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't been out here since I was like pre-teen. But I swear there was like a little ladder, and maybe that was like a bed right there or something.
definitely a lot of burn. Yeah, a bunch of cement here, so looks like it's kind of caved in right here a little bit. You got some wall back here. And really a beautiful view. Quite a journey to get here, actually. Once you know where it is, it's not terrible. But this is at least, maybe, what would you say, Sam? This is at least 50 years old, maybe? Something like that?
It was here when I was a kid, so 50 plus years old. So it almost looks like everything inside burnt out, but the front didn't. It almost did. You see, there's like all this burn damage.
Yeah, burn damage on these structural beams here. Yeah, but just take a look at the wide view here. I mean, how amazing. We're gonna head back down the mountain and we're gonna go to the ghost town of Frisco. There's actually a couple ghost towns out there and they have some cool stories. So we'll get out of here and head towards that. All right, to the ghost town of Frisco.
We ride.
All right, we're driving to that ghost town. It's on some back roads and found this old spring here. Well, you know, they still use it. See it bubbling over there, but there's a bunch of goldfish in here. Just goldfish swimming in this old spring in the middle of the desert. How freaking weird is that? All right, well, we made it to Frisco, the mining operation part of Frisco. Frisco was one of the most profitable mining towns in Utah in the late 1800s. It pulled the equivalent in today's money of almost $2 billion of silver out of these mines. This right behind me is the King David mine, and this is one of the main mines that was here. The other mine that actually got the most silver out of this mine collapsed, and after that, when things went downhill. So check out this. It's insane. And apparently this goes like 900 to 1,200 feet down into the ground. Apparently the smell that's coming up out of this is carbide, which is stuff they used in lanterns and stuff.
They were saying there was a 10-pound bag up here and someone kicked it down. And it wasn't that long ago.
That's why it smells like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it smells very yucky. Sam, you are freaking me out, dude.
Oh. So wild. Like, just imagine what this was like when people were mining it actively.
I know.
Coming up and down this hole all day.
We talked to someone who actually has been down there when he was 15. He's now like almost 70 years old. And he found a lot of cool stuff down there, but it goes down about 1,800 feet into the ground. How nuts is that? You can see, yeah, this big bucket right here. And then chains right there. Frisco was one of the most notorious mining towns in Utah. If you think back in the Butch Cassidy days with a bunch of saloons, gunfights, and brothels and stuff, that's what Frisco was. Like I said, pulled out so much money out of these hills, but when that other mine collapsed down there, things kind of went downhill. I think that was like 1910 or something like that. Sam, you're brave, dude.
I've been out here.
But yeah, you can see just how much is left and how big of an operation this was back in the day. So like I said, Frisco was kind of the notorious mining town, you know, with all the murders, brothels, saloons, all that. But there's another mining town on the other side of this mountain called Newhouse, and that was completely opposite. They banned saloons, they banned alcohol, they had an opera house, tried to be more sophisticated, right? So you can imagine the dichotomy between Frisco and Newhouse, which wasn't too far away. Yeah, let's check out the structure that's kind of on the side of a hill here and kind of sketchy getting to it. Here it is, just kind of on the point of this mountain here. Ruined structure, some cement, foundation, some piping over there. And a lot of the buildings from the town went to Milford, right?
So I was told, yeah, like some of the houses they just full on put on wagons and actually took the entire house to Milford.
This whole part right here is the mining operations. There's a bunch of old foundations down there. Behind me is the King David mine, which is that famous mine that goes really deep. The town is basically right at the foothills over there, like right where my finger is. So this whole area was just bustling. I mean, I think it had over like 5,000 people here. Something.
It's like 20 saloons or something. It was
Yeah.
like a crazy amount of saloons, like so many.
We're gonna go down, find some more interesting stuff about Frisco, maybe check out the town a little bit, and then we'll head over to that other ghost town. All right, now we're in the actual town of Frisco, and we're gonna walk up to these charcoal kilns. Made their own charcoal out here. Built their own charcoal kilns out here to make their own charcoal. Still very well put together, and you can see the old brick right there. How beautiful these are. There's a few holes you can see in the sides. And they would plug up those holes once it got hot enough and let this thing burn, and they have so much charcoal. This is a bustling place before it died out back in the early 1900s.
Kind of makes me sad.
I think we'll head over to Newhouse, which is that ghost town on the other side of the mountains. See what's left there. See if we can find some interesting stuff. So let's go. All right, to Newhouse. All right, we found the Frisco Cemetery. Let's check it out. Born in 1841, died in 1898. Born in 1883, died in 1884. That's sad as a child. The self same hand from whence 'twas given has taken back our babe to heaven. One thing that really stood out to me was how many of the graves belonged to children. It makes sense, this was long before modern medicine, but it's still a sobering reminder of just how difficult life was out here more than a century ago. Another child, March 1891 to June 1891. Carrie Emma. Let's go to Newhouse now. I promise we're actually going there this time. All right, we're about 15 miles away from Frisco in another mining ghost town called Newhouse. I can't ever remember the name. Newhouse was way different from Frisco. They banned all saloons, they banned all alcohol, prostitution. They had an opera house out here. They were trying to make it more sophisticated in Frisco, but same story, Mine ran out, no reason to stay here, and everything went away. But there's still some old remnants of the buildings right here. Old cans. Ow, that's hot. And here's some of the buildings right here. Really thick gates, so it's good. Bomb-proof.
Yeah, it will last forever.
Then part of a building right here. Yeah, this is crazy how, maybe it's hard to see on camera, but it is a vast valley out there. So the famous mine in Newhouse, it's called the Cactus Mine, and they really couldn't get much out of it in the 1870s, but someone bought it again in 1900. Like I said, they even have an opera house out here, and he brought in water for an actual park out here as well. So he was trying to make this an established town, but really there's no water here, right? You can't really do anything in the middle of the desert, especially back then. But look at all these broken bricks on the ground. I mean, you can see how far the town went, just kept going. Just imagine having a house out here, just having that view into the desert. I can see 4 dust devils out there. So unforgiving out here. They had to bring in a lot of water, and I mean, even today there's nothing established out in this valley. And anything that does get established, you got to pull in water. Wow, that's big. See all the fallen bricks down there? So many bricks. Man, the cement here is like 1.5 feet thick.
So I don't know how else you would bust a hole through this much concrete,
Good point.
but I bet someone found some dynamite. But check out.
Dude, look at that. Like that's just one thick giant thing of cement.
So much.
And here's what's left. Just Sam and I out here scouring the remnants. Oh, the shade. Whoa. All this brick laying around. Oh man, this looked like a huge building that went from behind me to over here. And even further beyond, there's some stuff. Yeah, the ground's pretty burnt here. Maybe this was in a big fire. But it goes pretty far that way, and then where we just visited, that really thick cemented structure is back there, so I assume this is all one big building.
The more I explored, the more I realized just how ambitious this place had been. Newhouse stretched for over half a mile, and it's incredible to think that an entire community once thrived out here in the middle of the desert.
Hard to wrap your mind around how many people were out here doing this operation, and now it's just a hot, dry, no one out here desert. If I didn't have my truck to be able to cool down, I mean, where would you get shade out here? This whole place is actually bigger than I thought. It kind of spreads itself out quite a bit. And there's a story about a guy named Uncle Si, and he was a bootlegger, so he would make moonshine, and he had a couple of mules, and he would bring moonshine to sell. But it's kind of a tragic story because there's a rumor that he killed his wife, but then they ruled it a suicide, so who knows what really happened there. But I'm trying to find the location of his cabin. And it's not as easy as you think. We went up the road a little bit more, and there's more structures. Yeah, kind of check out what's behind me. Just kind of a fallen structure right here. So many different types of glass. We got this dark green here, got the clear, kind of a bronze, purple. An old plate or something. I just keep finding old buildings here. A big chimney or something. I'm gonna die out here. It's like 100 degrees, I think. Just crouching down in the shade here while I wait for Sam. Yeah, this is actually way cooler than I expected. Way bigger too, and there's a lot of stuff left behind, like littering the desert for almost a mile of just glass, rusted cans. Really cool, but man, it's super hot right now. Whew, can't imagine living out here. We'll head back to the truck and figure out our next move here. Well, we decided to abandon the lower desert. Now we're up here in the Mineral Mountains by Milford, and we're checking out a desert spring. See what we can find here. Came up that mountain, basically on the saddle of it. See what this old spring's all about, eh? Still hiking, but a little cooler up here, high in the mountains. We're going down, and there's like a trickle kind of leading down to a pool down here, so I think that's what we're aiming for. Kind of precarious, but definitely running water here. All right, as we emerge, we have found the Oasis. Wow.
You can tell that's man-made right there.
Yeah, this is awesome. Ooh, this is so cool. So there's a man-made wall right there that kind of plugged the spring up. Yeah, this is really cool.
Pretty crazy.
It's on top of the mountain. Seriously, like a little oasis. It's incredible. It's funny how we've been in the most remote, flat, hot, dry desert, and now we're here. All these cattails here. Rock walls on top of a mountain. And then just this beautiful pond oasis. And we're just finding all these cool things and such different environments too. That ghost town was just dry in the valley. Now we're up in the mountains at a mountain spring. Yeah, we're hiking back up the way we came. And you can see the water just trickling down. But we came down this, now we got to go back up. But man, that's so worth it. How beautiful that was. How unique that was. All right, well, we're actually gonna go find a camping spot and have some food and relax for the evening. We've done a lot today and we'll find some more stuff tomorrow. So let's get going. Right, Sam?
Right.
All right, well, we made it to our camping spot. Really nice open area, very little wind. It'll be a great sunset. We're gonna relax, then we're gonna make some food, and that's it. Ah. We're gonna start the night with some charcuterie.
Like ribs are like half of my diet.
Mm-hmm. I've had about 60 of these. Sun's dipping down and the air temperature feels a lot cooler.
There she goes.
And there the sun goes. In the vast Utah desert. Got the last remnants of light. Got the moon up there. It's gonna be a bright night. All right, let's make some hot dogs and chili. Got some jalapeno chili. A little bit of chili for the boys.
This man is insane.
All right, a little chili dog right here. Sorry about the lighting, it's pretty late. Well, we're gonna eat, clean up here, then head to bed. It's been a really good day. So many bugs. Well, good morning. I had to walk away from the truck because Sam is sleeping on a cot right next to it. I didn't want to wake him up. What a great feeling morning. It's nice and cool. Or it's not really that cool, but the breeze is nice and cool. Yeah, slept really well last night. You know, in the desert, it gets a little cooler at night. So even though it's so hot in the day, it's like close to 100, maybe over 100 during the day. There's a couple more interesting things we're going to see today. Had a freaking action-packed day yesterday. So many things we saw. Today's a new day. We see new things and we have fun. But yeah, Milford, I mean, this whole valley is just full of interesting things from the mining era and all that history, and then the geothermal. Then they have wind turbines, and a lot of people come out here, you know, under the stars. Like a true pioneer. Yeah. All right, we're packing up camp. We're gonna head out of here. We're gonna hit a couple interesting stops on the way back, so stick around. But here we are. It's actually really hot now. The sun's out, so. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
All right, we've been driving for a bit. Now we're at Paul Bunyan's Woodpile, which is a lava flow that apparently looks like stacked wood, right, Sam?
Yeah, like it looks like petrified stacked wood, but it's just like the way the lava flowed that specific time.
So it's a geological curiosity, which is rare in Utah. The Woodpile is a cluster of lava logs formed 30 million years ago during the Eocene period. So there you go. The logs were formed when a lava flow cooled into orderly columnar joints having 3 to 6 sides. So they look like logs. So also it's 130 degrees. So Well, there it is up above me. Those rocks sticking up out of the earth kind of look like logs that are stacked. I'll put the drone up and show you guys. So that looked like stacked logs way more than I thought it would. But we're hiking back. We're not gonna go up to there. It's really hot out. We've done a lot. And I think we're gonna end it there. Really cool. Doing all that stuff yesterday, camping out for a couple nights, exploring the stuff around Milford. Sam, thank you.
Yeah, dude.
For giving me the local knowledge and tour. But yeah, we'll call it there. So appreciate you guys watching. If you want to, subscribe. See you in the next one. Peace.